Hello, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ryan Wasi Siddiqui, and I am one of the members of Team Skynet, a MERN stack team working under Learnathon 2025. So this video is going to be a project demonstration for our project, which we're calling Rent-A-Room, which is a room booking, renting, and hosting website. This project was created under our mentor Hasibul Hassan, who works for BrainStation 23, and we'd like to express our gratitude for all the help and guidance that he's shown us over the last couple months. So, even though this video is supposed to be primarily a project demo, this video is also supposed to introduce us at Team Skynet and sell us as capable engineers. So, before we get into the actual demo, a little about us at Team Skynet. So, Team Skynet comprises primarily of me, Ryan Wasi Siddiqui, and my teammate Tawhidur Rahman Khan. Um, we are fresh graduates from BRAC University, and we just graduated from CSE and CS respectively. And our goals in joining this competition was, as fresh graduates, our goals in joining this competition was not just to win the whole competition, but also to learn and get some real world experience. So when we started this competition, when we decided on the topic and started building this website, our goals in creating this website was to create something functional, robust, something that ticked all the boxes of security, coverage, testing, something like a piece of software that is actually deployable. And over the last couple months, we've spent a lot of time, effort, and energy into this project. We have learned all the we've learned all the ins and outs of GitHub, and we've spent and we've learned how to work together and how to handle workplace practices like Scrum practices, doing weekly meetings. We've learned how to talk to seniors, like we've learned how to communicate with mentors and with team members, and it has been an invaluable learning experience. So before we get into the actual demo, a tiny bit about how we started the project and our work timeline. So uh, going into our GitHub repository, we our repository, which is again called Skynet. We have proper documentation for everything, so you can find everything there. Uh, so in our very first meeting with our mentor, obviously the first thing we did was introduce ourselves because, again, one of the things that we set out to learn when we joined this competition was to learn how to communicate, was to learn how to maintain workplace relationships. And yeah, so the first thing we did was introduce ourselves, and immediately we selected a topic with our focus on robustness and functionality. And that's why we picked not something that might not just be unique, but something that entirely focuses on creating something that would introduce us to real world CSE practices. And with that in mind, we created this repository. And the first thing we did, as with most full stack development projects, was we created the schema diagram, which you can again find in our repository documentation. And yeah, it's a very basic schema diagram, and you can find all the entities, all the major entities that we used, or all the projected entities. This was the projected schemas that we would have for all our entities in our project. So aside from that, another thing that we did was, again, to showcase our dedication to like maintain weekly meetings, to maintain weekly workplace practices. We set up a Trello board, and we're happy to say that over the last couple months we've maintained this very strictly. Every week, as you can see, we had cards for multiple tasks, and every week we would set up tasks in the to-do card, and each of us would pick one of the tasks, put it in the in progress tab, and every week we'd complete the tab and show it to our mentor at the end of the week. At like in our weekly meetings, we'd put the tab after completing tasks. We'd put the tab in the we'd put the task in the awaiting feedback card, and we'd basically showcase our progress to our mentor, and depending on whether he liked it or not, or whether he asked for improvements, we would either put it in the done section or we would go back to in progress. And for the last 4 months, we've strictly adhered to this weekly schedule. And well, as with any group, we did have periods of extreme, really good productivity, as well as periods where there were delays or periods where we were not as productive. But overall, we'd like to say that we had a very we learned a lot. We learned a lot, and we were very honest to ourselves in maintaining the schedule. So now, finally, going into our actual project, I'll be showcasing both user responsibilities and admin responsibilities for this project. So, as a new user who is just getting into Rent a Room, this is the first thing that they'll see. It's an unlogged in page, and so a user going into Rent a Room obviously wants to rent a room. So you can obviously see all the properties. We have a couple demo properties set up. You can check images here. You can check the price. You can check a couple basic information, and you can check and you can press one of the properties to go into the property and see more details, as well as a booking page. So here you can see that a user has to log in to book. So before we do that, let's go back here and uh, introduce our search page or our search criteria. So obviously a user wants to be able to search properties before they decide whether to book a property or not. They need to see if a property matches their criteria of availability and location. So we have a couple criteria here, and this is one of them, which checks for the type of room. So you have standard rooms, and these are preset ideas, and you have standard rooms, luxury rooms, apartment, villa, and business suite. And we also have a location, which is really important. We do later down the line intend to upgrade this location parameter to actually integrate a Google Maps feature. So if a user uh, selects, if a user basically turns on their location, they'll be able to um, they'll be recommended their location directly here, and only properties nearby or properties that they want will appear. So for now, based on our demo properties, we'll search for Taka, and we have these three. Okay, now let's go pricing. So let's pick 100, and here we have these three properties that fit our pricing range. We have max guests, which is a owner controlled property, or like an owner controlled feature of properties. So if an owner wants to limit the number of guests allowed at their rooms who can rent their rooms, you can select this. And finally, one of the more important features is whether a property is actually available. So availability obviously depends on whether the owner of the property basically allows when the property is going to be rented, as well as whether someone else has booked the property during that period. So for now, let's say I want to book the property from the 13th to the 8th to the 16th of this month. So here immediately we are getting the properties that are available during this time period. Additionally, let's say I only want properties which are 5-star and above. So, that are 5-star and above. So here we are getting all the properties that are available during this period, as well as the properties which are 5-star and above. Again, let's say I also want only properties that are within this price range. Okay, now we're getting properties only available in this price range. And finally, I want a property in Taka. There we go. So this is the only property available. So we want to book Creative Orchid. So let's go in. These are some of the images. And again, so we need to log in before we can actually book the property. So let's go into the login page. So this is our basic login page. We find simplicity works best. So um, uh, let's create a new account. So one of the things that we've done is we have strict checks to make sure that our passwords are unique, as well as they have capitalization, they have at the rate. We strictly follow security measures to make sure that proper security is in place. So this was our basic login, but or our basic sign in, and but more importantly, we have a better way to sign in, which is Google logins and Google authentication. So I have this account set up just for this, and this is a new account. So go into this, and there we go. Google logins, very simple, and it's Google authentication. It's very streamlined. It's simple. It's just at the press of a button. So again, we wanted Creative Orchid. We want to actually book a property at Creative Orchid. So here we have it. We can see reviews, we can see book dates, we can see amenities, we can see everything. So we can see that the owner has made sure that the property is only available during this period. So okay, now let's go and book from the 13th to the 16th. Another thing that you'll notice is in our calendars, you will only be able to book the property during the dates specifically mentioned, as well as only the dates. You're only allowed to select the dates that have not already been booked. So here, and let's say, uh, so yeah, it's we can see the price per night. We can see that it's 3 nights, and the total comes out to $60. So let's book. You can see the total price again, and there we go. Our booking is now here, and we can now leave a review. If you've seen previously, and I'll show it for another property. So a user can't leave a review before booking a property. That this kind of ensures that users can't leave reviews randomly on properties to sabotage properties for no reason or to troll properties. So again, uh, going back, it's this time instead of manually searching for the property, let's go to our dashboard. So each user has a user dashboard, and on this dashboard, you can see the property. You can see your bookings. One of the things that you can see on your dashboard is your bookings, and you can see the details, which directly takes you to the page. So even though this time hasn't passed, let's leave a review. Let's leave a 3-star review. So you'll notice that this property has one review and it's 5 stars, right? So let's leave a 3-star review and see what happens. It was alright. So now you'll see that the property now has 2 reviews and the average rating is being shown. It's 4 stars between 3 and 5, and your review is also going to be posted. Okay, so the next thing we want to show is how a user, like let's say a user wants to host their own property for other users to be able to book. So how can a user do that? So the way you do that is go to the contact page, and here you can read all this, and you can press the become a vendor, or you can go into contact us, which basically takes you there. And let's say I want to So here I filled in the information and I have to tell the admin why I want to be a property owner. I have good properties and am looking to sell, to rent them out. So let's submit this application. And you can see that as soon as you submit the application, this part of the contact part becomes processing. So a user can't send multiple applications to the admin. Now, moving on to the admin side. So let's log out, and we have preset admins because admins can't actually sign up. Admins can't sign up, so we have a preset admin, which is, here we go, and this is our admin panel. So here you can see an admin panel, and admin can see recent bookings, and admin can see room status. We still have to do a little bit of work here. These are just preset ideas. We do intend to update this over time, to make sure that this actually showcases database operations. But for now, an admin can do mainly two features, which is user management. So these are all actual users in our database. So this is me. This is the user that I just created. So an admin can see all users, and an admin can edit or delete users. And the other important thing is here, requests. So an admin, as you can see, an admin can check all requests from users as well as view the details of the request. So for our user, we will now accept. So an admin can look into the details, check out the message, and they can either decline or accept the message. So for us, we are going to accept the message. So we've accepted, and that's pretty much it for admin panel. We do intend to update this as soon as possible to make sure that all the other features get updated as well. But for now, let's go back and log in as our user. So here, as soon as you log in, you'll notice something is different, and that's our notification panel. So each user has specific notifications, and this showcases that your vendor request has been approved. And now you'll notice that a new feature is a part of the nav bar, which is creating a property. So if a user now wants to create a property, they can just go into this, and we have our property page. So let's say I want to create a new property. Um, let's call it Avalanche. It's going to be a standard room. The property is going to be a pretty new property in Taka, and we're just going to select Taka and Bangladesh for this. Again, we will select $10 per night, 1 bedroom size, and we can select amenities. So let's say this property will provide Wi-Fi, parking, and air conditioning. And you can read here, but you can keep this part, the availability, blank, which means that this property is always available for rent. And for the contact number, let's just have this, and I have some preset images set up. So let's go this, and let's go this, and let's create the property. Property created successfully. So you'll notice that in the actual homepage, a user's property doesn't show up. This is because the person who created the property, like when a user becomes a vendor, or like when a user becomes a property host, they still have the ability to book other properties. So they shouldn't be able to see their own property in their own page. So to check out your own property, you now need to go to the dashboard. And here you can see my properties, a new part has been added, and you can see your properties. Here, you can view the property as a user. You can't book your own property, obviously, but you can edit the property. You can add in new images, you can edit any extra information, and you can delete the property. So for now, let's showcase another feature. Let's log in as another user and let's log in as another user and let's book that particular property. So I have another account and here, Avalanche, and we can see it and we want to book this property. So as you can see, the property is available for the entire period and let's book. It's $30. Let's book. Booking is successful. Let's leave a review as well. Let's leave a really bad review. Really bad property. And let's submit this review. And again, let's log out. And let's log back in as... And right away, you can see we get notifications for someone has booked the property during this period, as well as someone has left a rating with the comment. So aside from this, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we did a really good job we did, well, I won't say we did a really good job, but we properly adhered to what we set out to do. We made sure that our 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 software is very robust. Our software delivers on the main functionalities of our website. So, okay, before we end this demonstration, uh, I'll showcase two more things. So, I'll showcase the security of our actual project. So, for our I'll just showcase it from the repo. So, yeah. So from our repo, you can check our database structure. You can check all our branches. You can check all our commits and pushes. So um, we have proper CI/CD flow or a proper CI/CD work line. We have proper coverage. We have a proper structure. We are following MVC. So we have our models, routes, and controllers separated. We have we have separate folders for middleware and utilities. We have separate folders for testing, and we have really well done testing for both backend as well as front end. So for the front end, we have source, tests, and we also have Sonar project properties for Sonar Cloud testing, and we have all that set up. Additionally, I did previously mention that we did focus quite a bit on security. So if you go into our server.js file, you'll notice that we have JWT authentication set up and for the backend, and we have CSRF token set up for the front end. And we also have cookies set up to ensure that the whole thing runs smoothly, that to streamline the authentication process. Uh, to You can also go into our controllers folder and go into any of our controllers, and you'll notice that before performing the function that the controller is supposed to perform, each of our controllers always authenticates our JWT tokens, and this ensures that our users are always properly logged in. So you can also actually go into our models page and you can check any of our schemas, and you'll notice that all of our schemas are very well thought out and have all the necessary fields to ensure proper security protocols. Going back to our server.js file, you can also notice that all of our port numbers and sensitive information, all of it is always hidden, and this showcases that we used a .env file to keep all our secrets hidden so that none of our sensitive information gets leaked. Lastly, I'd also like to mention that we did have a rate limiting software or a rate limiting library in place, which ensures that our servers are never taking a larger load than they can handle. I'd also like to briefly mention that for our image uploads, we did use Multer. So I think we, over the last couple months, we've spent a lot of effort into this, and I think we did, even regardless of the outcome, we put in effort and we learned a lot, and this has been a very valuable experience to us. So before we go, uh, one last thing to showcase, and yeah, on Sonar Cloud, um, you'll notice that we do pass our quality gate in Sonar Cloud. We have a 90% coverage on our main branch. We have very low duplications, and we have 0 hotspots. And in the leaderboard for MERN, we came 5th. And as you can see, we have a really good score. So yeah, I think we'll end the demo at that. And I hope you like the product as much as we had fun building it. Thank you.